Hi, folks. I just got done reading Closely Watched Trains by Bohumil Hrabal. I'm sure I'm massacring that. He's a Czechoslovakian writer. I highly recommend this novel. It's only 100 pages long. It's got every human emotion in it. Lots of sex, lots of violence. It's really quite a condensed, fabulous piece of writing. When I checked out YouTube to see if there were any references to him, there were quite a few, but they're all in Czechoslovakian. So I decided to read an excerpt from the end of the book to give you a taste of what you're missing if you haven't read this thing. I hope you enjoy it. I have simplified it a bit. Again, I hope you enjoy it. I fell on my hands, and the corner of a sharp stone tore my palms. Then I rolled into the ditch, right beside that German soldier who was lying on his back and beginning to march on the spot. All the time he marched, steadily, gouging through the snow with his heavy boots, right to the frozen soil and turf, and he held himself by his belly and cried. I put my hand in front of my mouth, and when I coughed, I spat out blood. This German soldier had shot me through the lungs, and I him, it seemed, through the belly. I looked up at the sky from which the snow came drifting. Then I turned over and clawed my way to the soldier, who had begun to cry out, repeating over and over only one word, Muti, Muti, Muti. He called, and I watched him and brought up blood. And I knew that this man wasn't calling for his own mother, but for the mother of his children, for he was already bald. And then he kept clutching his hand to his belly, and it was as though he was wanting all the time to go away from this shot body of his. Steadily he marched on the spot, and with the soles of his heavy boots he scored through the snow to the frozen clay. I spread out my arms and lay down on my back. Blood trickled from the corner of my mouth, and my breast was full of fire. And suddenly I saw what perhaps Dispatcher Habichuk had always seen, that I was lost, that all I could do was to wait for that train to fly in the air. And if there was nothing else, then in this situation, that would have to be enough for me, because there could be nothing in store for me but death. Those military boots were gouging into my brain. I rolled over and dragged myself on my elbow right up to those military boots, and with both arms I tried to hold them still. But his feet were so strong on the move that they shook and jerked me like the levers of some machine. Out of the pocket of my coat I pulled the string I used for tying numbered labels on to bicycles or prams when travelers took them with them by train in the luggage van. I wiped away blood and bound one end of the string around one boot, and when the feet changed step, I tied the other boot too. And for a moment those feet stopped, marching and jerked helplessly together. But then, by the strength of the machine, they broke the string and scored the earth once more, and even hastened their step, while a soldier cried in a louder voice, Muti, Muti, Muti! And so he reminded me of all the more of something I didn't want to think about. How Mum would be standing behind the curtain in the morning, waiting for me. But I should never again emerge from the lane and turn into the square, and she would never wave the curtain as a sign that she was expecting me, and that she saw me, and that she was happy. Maybe the wife of this soldier, too, stands somewhere behind a curtain and waits for somebody to turn into the street and beckon to her. And it will be this man who lies here, marching on the spot and calling for her, marching and marching, for his march can only end in death. But this soldier already knew his end, and I, as I laid my hand into the snow to prop myself, felt the cold barrel of the rifle and I seized it and rolled over onto my side. So the soldier lay there and I opposite him. I held the barrel of the rifle to his eye and pressed the trigger. I was lying awkwardly as I did it, and then I heard him fall silent and saw his marching feet slowly and quietly arrive and stop. I was lying on him and I heard the peace and silence enter into him. I heard and felt everything stop, like a machine which is broken down. To the last moment, before I began to lose awareness of myself, I held this dead man by the hand, and for his unhearing ears I repeated the words of the chief of that mail train which had brought those wretched Germans from Dresden. You should have sat at home on your ass. So that's how the book ends. Good advice for all you hothead youngsters who just can't wait to get over to Iraq or Afghanistan or any other godforsaken place and get your ass shot off. Better you stay at home and sit on your ass. Thanks for watching. Bye.